So in the spirit of what I said about at least the community that I want to be a part of, I'm going to start making my videos by creating at least a minute of silence like this. Let's stop so that it doesn't feel so pretentious if somebody walks by. And if you see this and this is an easier entryway for you into the meditation thing, you can leave a comment or, as they say, vote with your thumbs. And I will do a longer sit, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, where we do this breathing thing, because you have to start from somewhere, right? My hope is that you can create that silence for yourself, right? Close your eyes like I did when I'm doing the breathing thing. And if it bothers you, I don't know, watch another video. But if this is your community, then when the video starts, just close your eyes and then breathe for yourself and watch your mind for the 2 minutes or however long that it took. And I don't know, right? Maybe you send well wishes to the world or to somebody you love, to your child, to your mother. I went to see my old man last night, and he wasn't feeling too good. So he was lying back in bed, and I sat at the foot of the bed, and he and I talked about life and about the death of one of his friends, who was this extraordinarily kind guy. And he died, he died. And it was childless, which was a very rare thing, because in the Ghanaian community it's not common for a person to remain celibate the entirety of their lives. I was trying to reach for something in my interaction with him for this, but perhaps it'll come back to me. So the other day I was driving and I drove past this beautiful silver Audi, right? And the driver is this Muslim woman, and she's wearing the thing, the covering. I'll educate myself better. I'm sorry, Sam. And all you can see is her face, right? And she's something like Cleopatra, right? The one that Caesar sacrificed all of Rome for. I mean, she's stunning, right? She is speechlessly stunning. Her face, right? And so it's not just cell phones that distract people. when they're driving. And then I thought to myself that maybe part of what the burqa is for, right? Imagine that if a culture were to think of their woman, right? If a culture were to think of their woman of possessing such great beauty that the only way to protect themselves from being burned by the light of their radiance was to shield them a little bit, right? It's as if this culture were to say, our daughters are so stunningly beautiful, my friends, that if you could see all of them, you may not survive it. Do you know? That maybe this is why Odysseus strapped himself to the mast of his ship, right? Because he was going to go past an island that was full of Muslim women. And they were so beautiful, so incredibly beautiful, that if you lay eyes on them and you weren't restrained, you wouldn't be able to control yourself. Except there's another culture, right? Where the exposure of skin was necessary for survival, right? Black people. Black people have to literally burn in the sun in order to make vitamin D. That is why if you're black and then you live in America, or you live too high above the equator, that you consume vitamin D and then you try to get as much sun on your skin as you can. And it's definitely not going to happen if you work a regular 9 to 5 and you don't take off your shirt and walk around your building for at least an hour in the middle of your day. It's not going to happen. You are not going to have the right level of vitamin D living like, for instance, me in America, okay? I'm pretty sure some of the doctors have made videos about it, so hopefully everybody has seen that. But I think that is what the burqa is to me, right? It's as if people were to say that our women are so breathtakingly beautiful that we're afraid for your safety if you should see all of them. But because they must participate in society, can we please have them show their face? And when they do, please control yourself. We know how extraordinarily difficult it is to see the fullness of the beauty of a Persian woman. We know. It's the kind of thing that causes accidents, you know. Lives have been lost. Entire kingdoms have been forfeited. Because one of our women forgot to put on her full covering. Helen. Yeah, her. I do all the cultural appropriation things. And so I think that maybe that is what is being said to us when you go to college and you see that girl who dresses funny, right, in the long robe. Maybe she's so stunningly beautiful that if she dressed like you, somebody might commit murder. Maybe we should have a Miss Universe where we don't see them, right? So a Miss Universe where a Muslim Pakistani woman can participate in, and then the judges would be the holiest men. We'll just select the holiest men from all of the cultures, right? We'll bring the Brahmins, and then we'll bring the Akonfo from Ghana, and then we'll bring the shaman from Latin America, and then we'll and the Aborigines, and then we'll bring the wisest among us, and then we'll let them go into a sacred space, right? And then they will judge the beauty of the women, because they alone will have eyes that can see and not be blinded by the beauty of a Persian woman, right? Another person I'm going to talk about a little bit is my friend Shoku. She's from Iran. She lives in Canada now with Aiden and Davud. Hey Shoku. And I lived with her in Winston-Salem for a couple of years. Less than 5. And she came to America from Isfahan. A PhD to do a postdoc. And maybe she can help me understand, right? What it's like for a culture to possess the inheritance of 10,000 years of continuous recorded inhabitants. What is it like when your people have lived in the same place for 10,000 years and been among the very first to keep records? What I mean is that the thing that we can learn from Iran, we can learn from very, very few other places, right? And that is why we should not encourage a government that needlessly drops bombs on it, right? I know it wasn't supposed to get political, but you live in the world, right? Just imagine with me, man. Imagine with me, you know? I'm American, right? But I obviously have West African genes. And we are the place so this video is not for children. So if you are 16, this is where you clip out, right? My people, we live inside of Earth's vagina, right? The tropics that's Earth's vagina, you know? It's the place that life comes out of. And so it's never clearly defined, right? It's always recycling itself, right? Because it is the very potential for life, right? It is life's very potential, right? And so you can't keep records there. until fairly recently. Because the forest will eat it up. It dissolves everything. It's slightly acidic. Slightly. Because it must clean itself out. You see how nervous it makes me just to talk about female things? Because that's also what the world does to you, you know? So, I just kind of felt my mother listening to this, you know, and being a little bit disgusted by it. And I needed to do the thing that birds do to themselves to bleed out the stress, right? To bleed out this thing that you're doing something that you shouldn't be doing. You're talking about things you shouldn't be talking about. And so I was saying that the tropics where I come from, West Africa, it's like Earth's vagina, yeah? And so for a long time, nobody kept records there. But in Iran, they kept record for 10,000 years, right? They've been recording human history for 10,000 years. And so some of West Africa's history is there, right? Because for a long time, they supported the earlier slave trade, right? The one that came long before the one that brought me here, right? A certain version of me, relax. And that is why we shouldn't draw bombs on them to liberate them. Because you know the thing that Elon Musk talks about, right? The mullahs are very, very bad, you know. They're horrible for the people. At least that's what I've been told. That they're hurting the country. That they're hurting its growth and development. The thing they're not doing is bombing it. Right? Shukun? They're not bombing it, you know? And I mean, you know, maybe this is a conversation for the Iranian people to have with themselves, right? But do you want to grow up so fast that you would destroy yourself in the process? You know? Because that's the thing, man. You know? The Ghanaians and the Nigerians, they're like kids in high school, right? And America wants to get us on this crack thing because they say that it'll make us grow up fast. Yeah, maybe. But how cool is it to be coked out of your mind all the time, man? How is that cool?